Welcome back to the English Pronunciation Workshop with Southern Utah University. In this video, we want to talk about the sounds of the letter Y and introduce decoding skill number 1. So let's talk about Y. Y has a lot of jobs, a lot of sounds in English, but there are patterns that can help us predict the sound that Y will make in English. And the first is that Y functions as a consonant. But this happens when it's at the beginning of a word. So examples like yell, yawn, and yes. When we see Y at the beginning of the word, almost always it will make a consonant sound, the Y sound. Now Y can also function as a vowel, and it will usually function as a short I sound, the I sound, in phonetic skill 1 and 2 words. So when it has a guardian consonant, one or more guardian consonants following the Y, it makes that short I sound, I. And this is not surprising because if we have guardian consonants, we expect there to be a short vowel sound. And so Y makes the short I sound in words like pix, cyst, crip, gym. Now Y can also make a long I or a long vowel sound. And this happens in phonetic skill 3 and 5 words. So for example, we see here in the word try, when Y ends the vowel and it is the vowel of the word, then it's going to make that long I sound. So try and sky are the phonetic skill 3 words, but when it functions as the vowel in a phonetic skill 5 word with the silent E, like type and hype, it also makes that long I sound. And again, this is not surprising because we expect that phonetic skill 3 and 5 words are going to be long. And so when Y is the vowel in these words, we expect it to be long. And so again, it's making that long I sound. Now Y can also function as a silent vowel. This happens in phonetic skill 4 words. When Y is the second vowel in an adjacent pair, it will be silent and it will make the vowel before it become long. So we see this in words like way, spray, may, and tray. All of these words have the AY combination. Now, AE is a common combination, but that usually happens at the beginning or middle of a word. When we have the AY combination to make that long A sound, it usually happens at the end of the word. All right, so now that we've reviewed Y, let's go back and review all the phonetic skills. Phonetic skill 1 says that when a vowel is followed by one guardian consonant, the vowel will be short. For example, the word sled with short E. When there are 2 guardian consonants, we also know that the vowel will be short. For example, the short A or A sound in blast. Phonetic skill 3 says when a vowel appears at the end of the word, then the vowel will be long. For example, the long E in the word me. Phonetic skill 4 says that when we have adjacent vowels, the second vowel will be silent and the first will be long, such as the long E in the word cheat. And phonetic skill 5 says that when there's a silent E at the end of the word, the first vowel will be long if there is only one guardian consonant between them. And so we get the O in this word will make the long O sound, scope. So we've learned about the 5 phonetic skills, and we use the 5 phonetic skills to determine whether a vowel will be a short vowel or a long vowel. But we also need to learn the decoding skills. The decoding skills help us understand how to separate longer words into syllables. A word has more than one syllable if it has more than one working vowel. And a working vowel is a vowel that makes a sound. Now, we've seen some words that have 2 vowel letters, but there's only one vowel sound because one of the vowel letters was silent. But if a word has 2 vowels that both make a sound, then it's a multisyllabic word, a word that has more than one syllable. And we need to know how to separate that word into the syllables so that we know how to apply the phonetic skills to each syllable in the word. If we can do that, then we treat each syllable like it's its own little word, and then we can predict whether the vowel in each syllable will be short or long. So we use the decoding skills to separate the word into parts, and then we use the phonetic skills to determine the vowel sounds. So let's look at this word here. This word follows phonetic skill number 3. It's going to be long, so it's mo. Now, if we added a T to it, it would now follow phonetic skill 1, so it would be mot. If we added an E at the end, it's going to follow phonetic skill number 5. It's going to be moat. But what happens if we add an L to it? Now suddenly this E is no longer a silent E. This E is functioning as a second working vowel in the word. We now have a multisyllabic word. There's 2 syllables. And this is why we need the decoding skills. So decoding skill number 1 says that when there is one consonant between the working vowels in the word, the consonant will move or run with the second syllable. So we need to look at this word and identify all its vowels. Same process, start from the left, go to the right through the word, and mark each vowel under the word. So we mark the O and we mark the E. Now we're ready to apply decoding skill 1. We look at the consonants between our vowels. There's one of them. So phonetic skill 1 says, when there's one, it will run, meaning it will move with the second syllable. So we'll separate this word into syllables like this. The consonant that was right before the second vowel moves with that second vowel. It does not stay with the first vowel. Now we can apply the phonetic skills to each syllable. So we look at the first one. This follows phonetic skill number 3. It ends with the vowel, so the vowel will be long, mo. We look at the second one. What phonetic skill follows the TEL pattern? This is going to follow phonetic skill number 1. There is one guardian consonant, so the vowel will be short. It will be tel. So our word is motel. Motel, not motel, not motil, it's motel. And the decoding skills plus the phonetic skills help us to predict this pattern. Let's take a look at another word. You can pause the video if you like, do this word on its own. Mark the vowels, then separate the word according to decoding skill 1, and then apply the phonetic skills to each syllable. So here's our 2 vowels. We separate the word by looking at the consonants between the vowels. There's only one, so one will run. It will stay with the second syllable. This is how we separate the word. Now we apply our phonetic skills. Phonetic skill 3 applies to the first syllable. It will be long, sigh. For the second syllable, which phonetic skill applies? There are 2 guardian consonants. So phonetic skill 2 will apply and the vowel will be short. Okay, here's another word, silo. Okay. A silo is a building that is used to hold grain. We often see them on farms here in the American West. Silo has 2 working vowels. Okay, we mark each vowel, then we separate. There's only one consonant between them, so that L will move with the second syllable. But each syllable follows phonetic skill number 3, so they'll both be long. Si-lo, silo. What about this word here? Relay. Okay, relay is a type of race where people pass the baton from one runner to the other. Can you decode this word using the decoding skill and then the phonetic skills? Go ahead and pause the video if you'd like, try it, and then compare your answer with mine. Okay, so we mark our vowels. We've got 3 vowels here, E, A, and Y. So we know that there's probably going to be an adjacent vowel issue in this word. But let's start with when we know that there's only the L there's only one consonant between our vowel groups. So the L will move with the second syllable, and we're left with RE, which follows phonetic skill 3. It'll be long, re. Now we look at our second syllable, lay, okay? There are 2 adjacent vowels. The Y is not at the front of this word. So it is not a consonant, it is a vowel. But because it's an adjacent vowel and it's the second vowel, it's going to be a silent adjacent vowel. So we will mark it as silent, which means that the first vowel, the A, will be long. Lay, relay. That's our word, relay. Okay, what about this word? Again, you can pause the video if you'd like. Try to decode this word and then compare your answer with mine. Okay. There's several vowels, so that's the first thing we'll do is we'll mark our vowels. The R, the A, and the E. Then we'll separate the word. Okay, now we're going to separate it because that M is one single consonant between the O and the A, so the M will move with the second syllable. Now there is another vowel, but it's at the end of the word and it's an E. We always know it will be a silent vowel then. So in that case, we don't have to separate that part of the vowel more because it's not a working vowel. So let's go back to our first syllable. RO follows phonetic skill number 3. It's going to be row. Now, our second syllable is a little more complicated. We see a few things. As we come around this word, we notice that C-E combination. We can put a rainbow above it and add the S, just to remind us that that functions as an S sound. Now, which phonetic skill does this syllable follow? We've got two guardians. We have the S and the N. Okay, and so we don't need to worry about it being following phonetic skill number 5. Okay, it's going to be more like a phonetic skill number 2 word with two guardians. So it will be a short vowel sound. That long E, or sorry, that silent E at the end of the syllable can't influence the A. There's those guardians blocking it. So it's going to remain a short vowel sound. So row and manse, romance. All right. Now we've talked about many sounds of Y, and we said that Y either is a consonant, or if it follows phonetic skills number 1 and 2, it will be a short I, or if it follows phonetic skills 3 and 5, it will be a long I, or it could be a silent vowel. But there's one case where it could also be a long E vowel. So normally it takes Y sounds, but there are some situations where it will take this long E. And this happens when it's at the end of a multisyllabic word. So if we have a word that has more than one working vowel and it ends in a Y, often that Y will take the long E sound. And so we see it in the words like tidy, daily, and baby. Normally Y at the end of a word, as we've seen, takes, like the word try, okay, takes the long I. But when it's multisyllabic and the Y is at the end, it changes from a long I to a long E. Tidy, daily, baby. Okay. So here's another complexity to this English system. Now, sometimes in a multisyllabic word, that Y will keep the long I sound, like in the word try. And this happens, most often we'll see it after the letters N, F, and L, and in verbs. And this is because generally we are stressing that second syllable. That syllable is receiving quite a bit of stress in the word, in the English syllable stress patterns. And when that happens, Y does not change to the long E, it keeps the long I sound. So deny, defy, reply. So even in larger words, if we see that NY, FY, LY in verbs, almost always the Y will keep that long I sound. But if we see multisyllabic words that are not verbs, then often the Y at the end does make the long E sound, like in the word happy. So let's look at a couple examples. Here's baby. We've decoded it. We identified the two vowels. There's an A vowel, there's a Y vowel. It has to be a vowel in this word because it's not at the beginning of a syllable or at the beginning of the word. And it also is not going to be a silent Y because it's not an adjacent vowel. So then we go back, we look, there's only one consonant between the A and the Y. So one will run, the B will stay with the second syllable. The first syllable follows phonetic skill number 3. It'll be long A, bay. Now the second syllable also follows phonetic skill 3. Okay, it will be long, but because this is a multisyllabic word, it's a noun, it's not a verb, it doesn't have the Y doesn't come after an N, F, or L, then it's going to be the long E instead of the long I. Baby. Let's look at this one. This is a verb. Okay, and so when we separate it, we have the D part. Okay, and then the FY, there's two clues that will help us know that it's going to keep the long I sound instead of the long E. The first is we see an F before the Y. Okay, and the second is that this is a verb. And so we're going to give more stress to that second syllable, and it will keep the long I sound instead of switching to a long E. Defy, defy. All right, we talked about a lot in this video. Y is a challenging letter in the English language because it does so many different things. It functions as a consonant at the beginning of a word. It can be a short I when it follows phonetic skill 1 and 2. It's often a long I when it follows the phonetic skills where it will be a long vowel. Sometimes it's a silent vowel if it's adjacent. And then in multisyllabic words that are not verbs, it often takes on the long E at the end of the word. And we also learned about decoding skill number 1, which says that when there is one consonant between two vowels in a multisyllabic word, that consonant will run or move with the second syllable. And this is an important skill to help us so we can start decoding and understanding the pronunciation of much longer words. Remember that these skills not only help with pronunciation, but they can help with spelling and writing and even reading. So it's really understanding the English spelling and sound system helps us in a variety of different skills in English.